Step inside the brushstrokes of two of history's most celebrated artists in a way you've never experienced before. We want to welcome back Fanny Curtat, renowned art historian and the creative voice behind the immersive exhibits Beyond Van Gogh and Beyond Monet. Good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
This is a first time that Van Gogh and Monet have been combined in these experiences. So maybe share with our audience what they can expect this time around.
So the first time around, we did only have Van Gogh, and now it's an incredible opportunity for us to have this dialogue between Van Gogh and Monet and really show that even though they are enormous monster in the field of art history, it's unavoidable to either see their work or know about them. There's still a lot to discover. There's still a lot to learn beyond the idea that we have of Van Gogh and beyond the idea that we have of Monet. And so through this dialogue showing that Impressionism and Post-Impressionism, what they are, how they are related, how they're connected, but most importantly, what they can still teach us today and how they can still be relevant.
Yeah, indeed. And so what makes this combination so particularly powerful?
Well, there's something about Impressionist and Post-Impressionist work that already lends itself pretty easily to this type of devices because they're work that are about capturing the moment, they're about light, they're about color, they're about movement. When you see original Impressionist art, an original Van Gogh on the wall, Post-Impressionist in this case, you already feel like the artwork is leaping towards you. So this is really just an extension. And having both of them, you have both artists that are capturing fleeting moments, that are capturing air, an atmosphere. Van Gogh is known for painting what he sees, but most importantly, what he feels. And Monet is painting sheer here and now. He's painting a moment, a sliver of light. And so having both of them really makes you feel like the power of their work is about the appreciation of day-to-day life, the minute beauty of light. It's something that's still very powerful.
What a beautiful way of putting it. What do you think these artists would say if they were alive today, how their art is being used?
Both of them would have pretty different reaction, I would imagine. And we can only speculate. Van Gogh had a little bit of time accepting the budding recognition he was getting towards the end of his life and couldn't quite reconcile the need he had to share his work with as many people as possible, which is something he says to his brother, but also having a hard time accepting the small recognition that was coming his way. And as for Monet, the way he describes the last work that he did, the immersive sort of cycle of water lily called the Grande Décoration that he did for the Musée de l'Orangerie in Paris, he uses terms that we use to describe an experience like this, about putting the audience in the middle of a sort of a world without bearing, without shore, with these enormous canvases that fill the world without any frame. And so we can only hope that both of them would appreciate the impact that, first of all, their work still has today, and the fact that it can still lead to a different way of appreciating art and bring in more people to the incredible power of their work.
Well, how would you say that this experience differs from, say, going to a museum and looking at their art hanging on a wall?
That's a great question because an experience like this is never meant to replace a museum experience. There's nothing like the magic of an original. There's nothing like the aura of an original Monet or Van Gogh. There's something so powerful in the intimacy that you get from leaning in a painting like that and appreciating the texture and everything. But there's something also phenomenal about being able to set foot into one. And the change of scale alone makes you appreciate these work differently. The intimacy is sort of replaced by something that's awe-inspiring, that's powerful. You see a blown-up version also of these works, so you appreciate differently the way they were made, the way the brushstrokes were put side by side. The color is not really blended. It's really working off one another on the canvas itself. You appreciate the power, the intensity. Both of these artists painted really quickly with something of an urgency to capture what was in front of them. And so you really feel that through this change of scale. And so it's really about providing a new perspective, a different experience, and also something that will bring in people who might be intimidated by museums and who might feel that it's hard for them to relate to a 19th century, early 20th century artist. And so an experience like this is really to bring a lot more people in and provide a different point of view, but really leading towards the museum.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because for someone who is not particularly exposed to art, who's not had that kind of a background, what are some key moments that they might be taking away when they step inside Festival Hall?
Well, there's something about these work that are really a good introduction to the art world in general, because both of these artists are not about confrontation. Both of these work, they were very confronting for the time they were
Yeah.
made because it was something that was so new. It was considered radical.
Hmm.
The art market, there's a reason both of these artists struggled during their lifetime. But for us, where we are now used to sharing our subjective point of view, when you have artists like that that are sharing their vision, a moment that you can appreciate.
Indeed. Well, Beyond Van Gogh and Beyond Monet, this is now through August 31st at Festival Hall downtown. They also have toddler time, sensory-friendly show times as well. So make sure you go to the website that we're going to put at the bottom of the screen and find out the perfect day for you. Fanny, thank you so much for joining us again and sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back after this.